Hey guys, it's Bishozzy here, and welcome to episode 79 of the BFC Dynamo series. Today's episode, it's coming on the 31st of January, but I've got to say one thing before we advance and obviously go into the league table, fixtures, stuff like that. Obviously got the face cam down the bottom as well. Left it there from last episode. Typical me doing me things. But recently had an offer of 45 million in for Damian Perez from Bayer Leverkusen. 28.5 mil of that was up front as well. I think it was like 16 and a half over however many months, right? Whatever. That's fine. I am so frustrated by this transfer. Again, it was on deadline day. I can understand that. I've got a little bit of spoilers here. We're signing two players on free transfers. Whatever. Doesn't matter too much. I accepted that transfer expecting it to go through. As a result, my heart is crushed, essentially. My dreams have been stomped on by, I guess, Perez not accepting a contract quick enough. As a result of thinking he was going to leave the club, I did actually make some transfer activity, sort of preemptively. I'll go through the out first. The only player that left the club is only a loan, and that was Idita Saikan. So we loaned him out to fellow Bundesliga side Heidenheim. Now, the reason for that is Heidenheim have excellent training facilities. They are currently sort of just below mid-table. Obviously needed a centre-back, that's why they went in for him. And again, I was trying to sell him in the last episode, prior to the January transfer window opening. I offered him out again, transfer listed him again. They were the only club that actually came in for him, albeit I think I offered him out for about 30 million. It might have even been 40 million, the price that he was asking. They came in with a loan offer. I think they offered him in the end, it was something like, I think it was like 200,000 a month, something like that. And then they were going to pay 70% of his wages if he's playing and only 50% if he's not playing, if that makes sense, as an important player. So I'm like, they're probably going to use him. He's not playing too well so far in the league for them, which is frustrating. I sort of want him to do well in the hopes that he will drum up some sort of interest in him as far as a transfer goes. I did actually start to use him myself a little bit more. As you can see, 6.86 in 5 games. Not terrible. It was actually playing okay. I was like, maybe I'll stick with him. I'll just keep developing him. Hopefully in a season or two we can sell him on. He's got that really long contract, which I think is a big part of the problem that we're facing at the moment as well, in trying to get rid of him. Anyway, transfers in. So like I said, 2 players have come in, but the first player I'll mention is Piero Pena. He was brought in under the premise that I was actually going to sell Idita Saikan. So I thought, I'm going to need another centre-back. This guy came up, 3.5-star current ability. He is a natural right-back, sort of full-back, if that makes sense. But you look at his stats as a ball-playing defender, they're by far the best stats we've had for the position, if that makes sense. He's 191 centimeters, is a big boy, but he's good with the ball at his feet, which again, usually when they're tall, they're not so good with the ball at their feet. He fits the bill. Bucket loads of pace as well, because he's technically a fullback. He's only 24 years old, 25k per week, 2.7 mil release clause, absolute bargain, 9 caps for the Chilean national team as well. He's a very good, he's going to be our starting centre-back for the foreseeable future. The question is, who partners him? Is it Sata? Is it Idita Saikan, potentially in the future? You know, I've got to ask myself this thing where, or is it even Rodriguez, who's played most of the season as well? So it's a weird thing I'm having to deal with. Anyway, the next player we brought in was on deadline day. They both were. Coming in from RB Leipzig is Alfred Kohler. We actually had this guy, shortlisted for, I think, before he went to Leipzig. I think we were back in like Bundesliga 2, sort of looking for like loan youth players that we could get into the club to try and get ourselves promoted. So he's been on the shortlist for ages. His contract is running out, I believe. Maybe not. No, 2040. Okay, disregard that. He's transfer listed. This is the transfer listed guy. I thought, we've got Gel, we've got Gavidel, we're going to lose Perez. I thought this in my head. 45 mil deal, accepted. Plenty of time left on deadline day to get the deal done. Plenty of time. I think it was something like 6 hours or so. Very frustrated that that deal didn't go through. That's it's probably going to be the title of this episode. Huge deal falls apart. So we signed him, regular starter as well. So he's essentially not going to play. Optional future fee of only $4 million, which I thought was a pretty good sort of deal at the time in case he did actually play pretty well. He's just a good backup. He reminds me of Gel, essentially. He's a poor man's Gel, a German Gel. I don't know what you would call him, but Kohler, I like the look of him. He's German as well. He's only 24. And I figured he would do a good job as, our backup, sitting on the bench, playing league games when we have important Europa League fixtures. And yeah, anyway, we signed him. I think we're paying $27,500, so 50% of his wages. And then the other player from AC Milan, we've got Diego Ramirez. Again, $9.4 million, bit more expensive on the optional future fee for him. He's just a little bit more versatile. Again, I've sort of mentioned we're a little bit light. We're probably one player light on the wings, whether it be the right or the left. He's a right-sided player, again, right-footed as well. Very sort of similar player to Strabic, in my opinion. Very similar. So I'm probably going to play him on the right. He will get rotated. He will get game time. A lot cheaper on the wages as well. He's 5.75k per week. He can also play up top as well. It's worth mentioning. He's only small, so not exactly much of a presence, but good player. Slightly better than Kohler as well. Same age, 24. Couple of caps for the Colombian national team as well. So they were both brought in under the premise that I might need a couple of backup options with Perez leaving. Perez did not leave. Perez is actually in probably the form of his career at the moment, which is probably why Leverkusen wanted to sign him. Anyway, league table. We currently find ourselves in second place. We are 1 point ahead of Gladbach at the moment. We are looking good. We are not going to be able to catch Bayern Munich, though. They have a 13-point lead on us at the moment. It's a big lead, and it's pretty much uncatchable as we've already sort of started the second half of the season. If we beat them later in the season, maybe it'll get a little bit closer. But I'm sort of I want to make sure we get top 4. We need to get Champions League again. This season, it's pretty cute. We're in the Europa League. We've got a chance of going pretty far. I think we're either first or second in the league phase at the moment. And of course, we're going to be playing our last league phase game here today against Real Betis. And I think are they in last? No. They're in 28th. So they're pretty far down. And there you go. We are actually up the top. First place. We have not lost a game so far in the Europa League. 19 points, just ahead of Tottenham and Nice. And Sociedad and Schalke. All the teams that I basically said were going to be decent competitors, and this is Europa League, are pretty much all exactly where I expected them to be. Anyway, second game today, it's another big one. We've got a point on Gladbach, and they will be our second opponents here today. As you can see, Gavidel, he was speculated of going to Dortmund, and that was pretty heavily, speculated through January. I think they were tabling, I don't know if it's legit or not, but they were tabling a 78 million offer for Gavidel. I would have probably accepted that. I think anything above 70 is probably fair value. I think he's got an 88 mil release clause, which I'm assuming someone might activate, whether it be Bayern Munich, Dortmund, potentially Real Madrid, Man City potentially as well. I think even Chelsea have a decent amount of money at the moment. So all those clubs. Anyway, let me move the face cam back up to the top here. We'll get ready for this episode. I'll show the lineup here. Again, Europa League squad's pretty short, although we still have Perez. So if Perez was sold, essentially what would have happened is we would have essentially been a striker short because we wouldn't have been able to bring in a new striker into the registration, at least until the knockout round, or the second knockout round that we're going into as a result of that top 12 qualification, I think it is. Anyway, enough about that. We got Melges, we got Nagtagal coming back in, we got Payna. I didn't go over the fixtures. Pulisic, Juarez, Dusak, Viscasil, Rojas, Bednarek, Perez, and Gavidel. Excuse me, let me quickly go over the fixtures because we have been in really, really good form. So last episode, how far back was last episode? Surely, was it Aberdeen? Freiburg? I think it was. We played that many games. It seems like a lot. I believe that was the last episode. So we finished off bouncing back from that 3-3 draw with a 3-1 victory over Frankfurt. Sayakan getting his first goal there before being loaned out. Strabic and Bednarek getting the goals for us there. We then versed Young Boys, beat them 3-0. Good to get a clean sheet as well. Got Rojas, Perez, and Gel on the score sheet. A 4-1 victory over Hoffenheim. Trying to get through these nice and quick, guys. Got Bednarek, Gavidel, Perez, and Perez again. His hat-trick being disallowed. Lost 2-0 to Bayern Munich. As expected, they are Bayern Munich. Schelderup and Kajagard on the score sheet for them. Luckily, bouncing back in another very tough game. Leipzig at home. Gel with a goal disallowed. Scored on halftime. Perez again with a nice brace. Getting his second goal in stoppage time. Beat Benfica in a friendly 4-0. Beat Chemnitz 7-1 in a friendly. We then beat Heidenheim 4-1. Very impressive win here as well. Own goal, Perez penalty, Gel and Perez in open play. And then got a 3-0 victory at home over Mainz. We got Nagtagal, Bednarek, and Gel on the score sheet in that one. Very dominant. We've just been winning games and we've been smashing teams. As is evident by this previous game I just played. 9-1 victory over Napoli. Massive result. Massive. Our strikers, as you can see here, Perez on a 10, Gavidel on a 10. We had Dusak, Gavidel, Perez, Gavidel again, Bednarek with a disallowed goal, Perez on the score sheet again, Gavidel on the score sheet again, Perez on the score sheet once again for his third goal. Gavidel already with a hat-trick, and then Perez getting his fourth goal in the 87th minute there. 9-goal haul against Napoli, who must be in dire crisis at the moment. Also worth mentioning that our stadium upgrade, I'll show you guys that, I may as well, has gone through. So we now have a 29,731 capacity at the BFC Dynamo Stadium. They also got the training facilities upgraded yet again. So we're at good. They're currently being upgraded, and hopefully they're only going to get better, allowing us to develop our wonder kids, players like Viscasil, Gavidel, Rojas as well, getting all those players to the level that they should be and their potential, kind of dictates. Anyway, let's advance. Real Betis, here we go. Hoping for this good run of form to continue. We should be beating Betis. We are the home team as well. I don't really know what else to say. We should be winning. This is essentially a full-strength team for us as well. I say that Rojas gets injured in the first minute. Love that. Going to bring Strabic on. Strabic has actually missed out a little bit just because everybody is playing so well. He's sort of missing out because Bednarek has essentially come alive. He's become one of the better players in the team. Juarez on the score sheet, he's actually been playing pretty badly. He's probably one of the only players in the whole team that has sort of been averaging under a 7 at the moment. And he gets himself a goal today. 4th goal of the season for the Mexican. Very nice to see. Pulisic as well. Absolutely still bossing it. He's only a 2-star rated centre back. And he does it. He's solid. I almost don't want to sell him. Strabic gets in there, 2-0. Good start. Good start. And a good win here today will actually get us that first place finish in the Europa League phase. Bednarek with a nice steal there. Ooh, Strabic misses the ball, but wins it back. Wins it back. Still, I'm so salty about that Perez transfer not going through. That 45 million with the 28.5 up front, it would have essentially allowed us to buy 2 Wonder Kids, next preseason. That's essentially the way that I saw it and the way that I wanted it. So I'm very, very frustrated. It is what it is, though. We're going to move on. We'll potentially get a better offer for him in the future as Damian Perez slots it away right on cue. That's his 18th goal. But I think at the moment he's absolutely scoring for fun, both him and Gavadel. It's almost ridiculous. Ooh, Dusak. Oh, good win back. Viscasil. Big player. He's going to be a massive player for our future. Perez to Bednarek. Bednarek gets his rebound. And that's 4-0. Essentially game over. That was quick. That's what I'm saying. Bednarek, he's, for a player that we purchased in 2 Bundesliga, the fact that he's still, I know there was a season there where he was really bad and I didn't really play him much. I think it was last season, actually. He's come on. He's come on this season. I don't know what it is. I guess the quality of player around him, potentially. I don't know. Oh, Viscasil with a nice opportunity. I want to see Viscasil scoring a little bit more. He's got a bucket loads of pace for a defensive midfielder. All right, free kick there for Betis. Going over. And we look like we're going to continue our dominance. Strabic coming forward. Inside to Perez. Inside again to Gavadel. To Bednarek. We almost switch play. And we go backwards to the other side. Strabic to Juarez. He's so deadly. It was a good save by their keeper. Juarez, I mean, he is essentially a winger that's playing wing back. Yeah, Schalke, they're winning their game against Kiev. Obviously, we're absolutely thrashing Real Betis here. Honestly, I kind of wanted this to be a bit more of a competitive game. I know Gladbach next is going to be very tough, but I figured Betis from La Liga were going to be not challenging, but actually, yeah, I thought they might be challenging. I mean, I thought that about Napoli as well. Oh, Gavadel, easy. Strabic to Gavadel all day long. That's a goal. Apparently, the Betis fans are letting off flares despite being 5-0 down at halftime. Rightio. I would imagine in real life they'd probably all leave the stadium. Just going to ease Gavadel off here as well. I definitely want him for the next round, the knockout rounds. Viscasil with a corner. Out to Strabic. And his shot just goes wide. Strabic with a corner this time. Not a bad one either. Gabadell back to Perez. Oh, they are too good. It's like, do I even really want to sell them? They're literally in the form of their careers at the moment so far. I mean, Gabadell's, what, 19? I might have a combination here. I might have the goal-scoring combination that could potentially maybe... I mean, Gabadell scored another one there. Maybe challenge us for the league? Challenge Bayern Munich? I don't think... We're definitely not doing it right now. But if this continues and we go into next season, I mean, anything can happen. Anything can happen. Anyway, who are we going to take off? We'll go Reguagui for Dusak, I think. A little bit fatigued. Reguagui hasn't really played much recently either, after he came back from the African Cup of Nations. I did actually look at our loan players that we've loaned out to the two Bundesliga clubs. They're all actually playing, which is great. Because I was going to bring either of the two strikers back from loan early. I think it's Traore. I know Perez has scored another goal there. I think it's Traore, who is the Ivory Coast new gen. He's now valued between 21 and 30 million while he's at Stuttgart on loan in that second tier. I was tempted to bring him back and potentially play him as the backup once Perez sold for 45 mil. But obviously that didn't happen. And I'm kind of glad I didn't actually bring him back preemptively. And I went for the loan in Kolar and the other guy, Martinez, I think his name. So very glad I didn't do that. Anyway, that is an 8-0 victory over Real Betis. Our last two Europa League games, we have scored 17 goals. 17. Rojas is going to be out for a whole month. That's frustrating. Perez with another 10 match rating. I'm assuming Gabadell probably got 10 as well. And we get 857k for achieving first place. And 300k for unallocated prize money. Anyway, what I'm going to do here is skip forward the 3 days and I'll join you guys back for the lineup against Gladbach. Alright, so let's get a lineup here. Nothing's really changed. We've both dropped down a little bit because we haven't played yet. It's essentially the exact same team. Obviously, the only change is the injury to Rojas. So Strabic has come in, same as last game, pretty much after Rojas picked up the injury. Him on the left, Bednarek on the right. Everybody else is going to be exactly the same. And yeah, hopefully Gabadell and Perez have a big game out there for us. Viscasil's a little bit lacking in match fitness, or match condition, I should say. He's not really recovered as well as everybody else. But I'm going to play him anyway, because the team's playing really, really well with him back in it. Potential risk for injury is a little bit higher, but at this point in time, I pretty much want him sort of playing every game for the rest of the season to sort of ensure that he has enough game time to develop properly. So, yeah, my thought process behind it anyway. And we will hopefully... We essentially need a big win here today. This would be a massive win for us to sort of remain in second place. That's offside. I think Gladbach are offside there. He looked like he was in front of the ball. Disallowed, there we go. That's lucky though. Coming off the free kick as well. Not so good. And obviously they're a lot tougher of a team to break down. Interesting, they're going with a ball-winning midfielder and an anchorman as their defensive mids. Obviously, the two defensive mids is very overpowered on FM24. Such a weird position to overpower, but anyway. Bednarek into Dusak. Ooh. don't really like that option of Dusak, who's right-footed, taking a shot outside the box with his left foot. Doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. Anyway, I was going to say I'm disappointed. We're not playing anywhere near good enough to actually get the win here today. And we know Gladbach have some absolute superstars. Campbell's one of them in their team. Ooh, Meljez with a big catch there. And Payner is going to come forward. Plays it out to Bednarek. Option out here on the right for Nagtegal if he gets forward. He does. Bit of pace. Back to Dusak. Viscasil. Nice ball. Oh, that's beautiful. That's going to be offside as well. Gavidel, he puts it in the back of the net, but he's going to be offside there as well. So it's going to be one disallowed goal apiece. He's definitely offside. Yeah, there we go. Disallowed. That was going to be his 30th goal of the season as well. So it's a little bit frustrating. I'm going to encourage him. We're not going to make a change yet. Although it is very tempting. We're essentially playing better than they are at the moment. So I sort of want to leave it. I don't like Juarez on a 6.2. Makes me very nervous as he gets the ball on his yellow card. Nice ball to Stravic, though. Goes inside. Dusak. Bednarek with a header. Didn't really look like he was supposed to get the ball there. Dusak with a beautiful tackle. And we go all the way back to Puljic. Still our centre-half. Was he our 2 Bundesliga centre-half? I think he was. All right, Dusak to Bednarek. Gavidel! That's his 30th goal. He's got to be onside there. He's onside. I know he is. Come on. Get in there. 1-0 to Berlin Dynamo. We've got a free kick. Juarez to the back post. Oh, Gavidel. Looked dangerous. I don't like the fact that Gladbach are coming forward here. Shut it down. Oh, Strabic. He's on a yellow. He's on a yellow. Oh, he needs to ease him off. And once again, Gladbach have the ball coming forward. Bit of space for them as well. The Lunga, he's a good player. One of their better ones. Their header just goes wide. All right, we've got 10 minutes left. We've got a very tired team out there as well. We'll bring Traore on for Juarez, who's having a stinker. Perez for Gel as well. Strabic, we don't really have anyone to bring on. Actually, we have Ramirez. We'll do that. Bednarek moves to the left. Ramirez gets his debut. And we're all happy. Antigal on a 6.4. Not the greatest in the world either. Puljic probably should ease him off, but we're in stoppage time now, baby. And we've got the 1-0 lead. Yes. Yes. What a win. What a win. 1-0 victory over Gladbach. We knock them all the way down to 5th place, and we take 2nd place for ourselves outright. Freiburg are now 1 point behind us. And we all know how good Freiburg are. So, it's going to be very tough. Anyway, Ramirez making his debut. Of course, he's on loan. We've won a lot of games recently. I mean, I know we got the 2 friendlies in there, but that's a lot of games. Looking forward, I don't really want to do the round of 16, but I guess it'll sort of depend on who we get, if that makes sense. If it's someone good, I'll bring it to you guys. If not, I might skip it. We might go Union Berlin and Schalke. And then obviously we'll see how we go if we get through to the quarterfinals. So potentially the Europa League round of 16, possibly not, depending if it's not a very good team. If it's someone I like, we'll do it. We'll do maybe a triple header with the Werder Bremen game, because they actually beat us earlier in the season. Yeah, they beat us 2-0 there. So I'd like to get a bit of revenge on them, especially on camera. I'd love to spank them in front of our fans, because that was an away loss. Anyway, make sure you smash a like on this video, guys. I'm still a little bit salty that Perez did not accept that contract, and that 45 mil did not come into the club, because that would have been huge. As you can see, it would have essentially wiped out our whole losses for the whole season so far, albeit it wasn't all up front. But anyway, doesn't matter too much. Hopefully, going forward, we'll actually be able to get more money for him. I'm hoping that's going to be the case. He does want a new contract at the club, which is very frustrating, because he wants about between like 60 and 70,000 per week, which I don't really want to offer him, because obviously we're already pretty much on the wage budget. I actually had to up that slightly to get certain players re-signed as well. Anyway, enough about that. Subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't done so already. And as always, take it easy and goodbye.